In 2019, a man named Tetsu would quit his job in Japan to explore the world. Over time, his adventures would become more and more dangerous. This would escalate until he would climb to the top of Mount Fuji by himself during the off-season. For those who don't know, the winds at the top of Mount Fuji can reach over 60 miles per hour. These extreme winds can cause the snow to harden to ice, making the trail extremely dangerous. Even more so with the fact that he was alone and using his smartphone to live stream the adventure. Regardless of the risk, Tetsu would continue. At first, he complains that his fingers are losing their sensation, as well as stating that he should have brought a smartphone holder. He goes on to say that he needs to warm his hands up, then states that the ground is very slippery and dangerous.
ちょっとだけマシになった。指ちょっと待って、行こう。脇作戦で。うわ、滑る。うん、滑んな。ここ滑るな。危険、ちょっと危険。ちょっと待って、シャドウが30度ぐらいあるけど、ちょっと待って。滑るな。危ないな。ちょっと待って、ここ岩あるでしょ。その岩を伝っていこう。この小さい岩。危ない。そう。なかなか危ない、ここな。滑って下山する。よし。岩を耐える。やばい。よし、行こう。斜面になっちゃってるな。この道が埋まってね、半分ね。雪で。よし、行こう。池だ。道合ってるな、これ。なんか相当埋まってんだけど、雪。
It is at this point in the video that he says he can climb down the rocks by sliding. However, he would yell out that he was slipping, and unfortunately, those would be his last words. Tetsu's phone loses connection. From here, he would go on to tumble down Mount Fuji to certain death. As you can see from the video, clouds are visible from above, which really puts into perspective of how high he really was when he fell. It would take a rescue team 2 entire days to find his body. In January of 2023, a Yeti Airlines aircraft would go down mid-flight with 72 passengers aboard. Only after 27 minutes of flight, Flight 651 would enter what is called an aerodynamic stall. According to sources, when they have stalls, typically one wing goes down, and wings are basically generating the lift. So as the airflow reduces, the lift generated is not enough to sustain the aircraft in flight, and the wing drops and the aircraft nosedives. This is exactly what happened during Flight 651. One passenger would remove his phone to stream the impending doom to Facebook Live. A preliminary investigation would report that the crash was due to human error. During many flights I've personally been on, there are moments where the entire plane drops down a few feet. However, the knowledge that this is due to controllable factors or even just turbulence has always set my mind at ease. Unfortunately for the people on Flight 651, this was far from the case. Imagine being on an airplane and it rapidly begins to fall. Rather than stopping as usual, it just continues. The level of fear the passengers on this flight must have felt is most likely indescribable. Everywhere in the flight, there are people screaming and panicking. You turn to the window only to see the ground coming closer and closer. Death is closing in, but your mind can't accept it. There has to be some way out. Within a few minutes, the plane crashes and it's all over. Unfortunately for the 72 passengers on board, none would survive the crash. In the end, this would be labeled as the country's worst aviation disaster in 3 decades. In 2017, 18-year-old Obdulia Sanchez would get behind the wheel while heavily intoxicated. Also in the car was a friend, Manuel, and Obdulia's younger sister, Jacqueline. As they drove, Obdulia would stream the drive to Instagram Live. Unfortunately, things would take a turn for the worst as she lost control of the vehicle.
This is the last thing I wanted to happen to us, but it just did. Jacqueline, please wake up. Sister. I with my sister, okay? I know I'm going to jail for life, alright? I understand that. This is the last thing I wanted to happen, okay? Alright? I don't care, yo. I'm gonna hold it down. I love you. Rest in peace, sweetie. If you don't survive, baby, I'm sorry. Baby, wake up, baby. Wake up, baby. Wake up, baby. I'm fucking sorry, baby. I did not mean to kill you, sweetie. Sweetie, I'm sorry. Sweetie, please, wake up.
The full uncut video is too graphic to be shown on YouTube. If you are sensitive to this type of material, I urge you not to go searching for it. Regardless, while driving, the car began to veer off the road. At this point, Obdulia would attempt to correct the mistake. However, because of her intoxication, she would turn the wheel too far. This resulted in the vehicle speeding off the opposing side of the highway and through a barbed wire fence. From here, the car rolled over several times. The camera pans to Jacqueline, showing her mangled and bloody. Her face is swollen. Unfortunately, no one in the car was wearing seatbelts. Jacqueline would die during the crash, while Manuel suffered severe injuries to her legs. Obdulia would be arrested and found to have a blood alcohol level of 0.101, nearly twice the legal limit in the state of California. As a result of the video going viral, she would receive many death threats. However, she would only serve around 2 years in prison before being released. In December of 2020, a streamer going by the name of Stas Reflay would kill his girlfriend while live streaming. Stas participated in what is referred to as trash streaming. According to sources, trash streaming is when a person streams himself online, usually intoxicated, performing offensive acts in exchange for donations from viewers. During the live stream, Stas would accept donations from viewers to inflict physical abuse upon his pregnant girlfriend. In one situation, he would mace her with pepper spray. Unfortunately, this was not a one-time thing. Stas had a history of streaming the abuse of his girlfriend. The beatings would continue to escalate for his stream until one viewer donated $1,000 for him to lock her outside. Now normally, this could be considered a harmless prank, but the two were located in Russia. This being winter, average temperatures can be as low as 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Stas would accept the money and lock his girlfriend outside. She would beg and plead to be let back in, but he would ignore her. Eventually, her begging would stop and he would go to check on her. At this point, he found her to be unresponsive. In this point of the video, she is either dead or close to death. What I found to be most disturbing is that Stas continues the live stream for 2 hours after her death. Her body can be seen lying motionless on his couch while Stas continues interacting with his viewers. Even when the police and paramedics arrive, declaring her dead, he stays at his computer. Stas was eventually arrested and sentenced to 6 years in prison. Now this one may not be a live stream, but it was on live TV, so I guess it kinda fits. On January 22nd, 1987, Robert Bud Dwyer would shoot himself during a live press conference. Robert was a member of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, serving as a Republican. At the time, he had been convicted of bribery, along with many other charges, and was a week away from receiving his sentence. This had the possibility of being up to 55 years in prison. On January 22nd of 1987, Robert would hold a press conference under the guise that he was going to claim his innocence. Part of his speech would ominously include, "Please leave immediately if you have a weak stomach or mind, since I don't want to cause physical or mental distress." He would then thank his family, asking them to make sure his sacrifice was not made in vain.
Please leave the room if this will. Thank you. Don't. This will hurt someone. Don't do that.
Alright, settle down.
Don't treat him like that.
Don't panic, please. Don't panic.
Shit!
Don't panic. Someone call
the doctor.
Someone call the ambulance and a doctor and the police. Don't panic, please. Show a little decorum, please. Dear God in heaven.
Because of YouTube's policy, I am unable to show you the full video. However, what I can tell you is that what happens next is very graphic. Due to a snowstorm in one area, many children were home from school while this was being broadcast.